My name is Michelle Millar Fisher, and I'm a design and art historian and a curator. I currently work as the Louis Madeira IV Curator of European Decorative Art and Design at the Philadelphia Museum of Art. But originally I'm from Scotland, and so most of what I've done has either been in museums or teaching around design and its intersections with daily life. So I'm not involved in particular contemporary causes, but as a curator and a design historian, I'm thinking constantly about the way that design shapes our everyday lives. When we wake up, the toothbrush that we use, the bed sheets that we've been sleeping in, the clothes that we put in to go out and greet the world in, or the buildings that we go into and work and live in every single day, they are designs that shape our worlds, and they shape our ecosystems, they shape the planet, the flora and the fauna around us, and they also shape people. They shape labor, they shape society, they shape economics. And so it is my evangelical goal as a curator and as an historian to think about the ways in which I can help people to a better understanding of design as a powerful shaper of our society, but also how they as citizens and sometimes as designers themselves, how they shape these ideas, these things, these objects, these buildings, and how that can impact the environment and how it can be impacted for the better. I'm often working with collections in museums that use a range of different materials, and what I've definitely noticed, especially with works that have come into the collection from the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, and the 80s, they're made of plastic in many instances, and we're seeing a class of objects there that I'm not sure will be around in 50 to 100 years, which means that our museum collections, what we're able to show as the story of design, could change quite radically. I'm seeing now today also designers who are working in a range of different new materials that do take different types of environment into account and think about sustainability in new ways. So for example, a really wonderful designer that I have loved working with, Violaine Bouet, she's a French designer who looks at seaweed as a textile medium. And so she's done real material innovation in thinking about the texture of it, the ways in which she can cut it, she can tuft it, she can pull it, she can weave it, to create sustainable fabrics that can be used over a range of different applications. So it's exciting to see the ways in which designers are thinking about sustainability in new ways. I'm just worried as a curator that we're going to have lost part of our design history because we haven't always had that mentality. There are 3 pieces of advice that I would give to someone thinking about doing something for the environment. The first is something that's pretty much out there already, thinking about buying your clothes from thrift stores. I'm doing that just now. I'm wearing something that I purchased that's been used for the last couple of decades, and I'm now its owner. And I think also the second thing I would say is know your history. History is something that gets repeated and it enshrines traditions. And often those traditions are very thoughtlessly repeated. So using resources in ways that are not great for the planet around us. But there's also a history of the sustainability movement, and that's something that's been really strong, especially over the last 70 or 80 years. And so if you know the history of Earth Day, if you know the history of UN Accords, if you can think of these as a powerful tool to discuss with other people or to bring into the lives of your family and talk to your children about, then that kind of conversation becomes the history that's then repeated. The third thing I would say is a fairly controversial one, and I'm not sure if it's something that everyone would get on board with, but having children is one of the most resource-intensive things that you can do. And while I'm not saying that we shouldn't have children, I do think that it's connected to one of the themes of the Gala, which is empowering women. Having the choice to have a child or children is an important one, and it's something that not every woman has. And so if you can raise up women around the world, and especially if you can give them access to reproductive rights and freedom, then you allow women to make choices about their body and choices about how many children come into the planet and into our ecosystems. So those 3 things are my pieces of advice. Thrift for your fashion, know your history, and allow women to have reproductive freedom. Very simply, the Green Attitude Gala means that the fashion industry is waking up to environmental concerns and taking them extremely seriously. When we put environmental sustainability at the heart of a practice like fashion and an industry like fashion, it means that there's a commitment from the industry itself and from really forward-thinking designers to address something that affects absolutely everyone and along really intersectional lines. So I'm very pleased to see that the Gala is taking on this particular topic and taking it on again with women at its center. It's exciting, and I'm glad that it's happening. Thank you.